Welcome back to Irons United for our match preview of West Ham versus Wolves, which takes place tomorrow night live in front of the cameras. West Ham are still on the hunt for our first Premier League win of the season, and we'll have to try and get it without our manager David Moyes. Moyes, along with players Diop and Cullen, are self-isolating for up to 10 days, showing after getting 3 positive tests from coronavirus this week. And of course, West Ham have lost their first 2 opening games of the league. We host Wolves at the London Stadium on Sunday, and despite 2 absent having contracted COVID-19, Alan Irvin, who's going to be in charge, still has a full squad to select from. I am Anton. I am joined by Alf. Alf, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home. What are you thinking?
Very difficult. Very difficult. They are a class outfit, I'm afraid to say. Well drilled, well skilled, class manager, and where they have organisation, we tend to have disarray. However, that being said, we played really well against Arsenal, and we've had 2 really good performances in the Carabao Cup. So I think it's going to be a tough day at the office for us. It's going to be a big challenge, but I think it's going to be quite close, this one. A bit too close to call.
Absolutely. Just some stats for you before we get into the preview. West Ham have lost each of our last 4 Premier League meetings with Wolverhampton Wanderers without scoring a single goal. Our last win over them was in the competition was back on New Year's Day 2011, 2-0. Wolves have won both of their Premier League visits to the London Stadium since the promotion in 2018. It's the first time they've ever won back-to-back away league games at West Ham. Wolves lost their last Premier League game in London 2-0 at Chelsea in the final day of the 2020 season, and they haven't lost back-to-back away Premier League fixtures in the capital since November 2011. West Ham have lost each of their opening 3 league matches in 2 of the last 3 seasons, and they've only lost the first 3 games in 2 of their previous 45 campaigns prior to this. I'm sorry, Alf, I know it's negative, but we're going to go up from here. But what I'm going to do is, before we talk further in West Ham, we're going to go into a little bit depth with a Wolves fan, a good friend of the channel. It's Dave from Talking Wolves. Dave, how are you doing, my friend?
All right, Dave.
How's it going, boys? How's it going? Yeah, great to be back. And looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Yeah, good man. Are you feeling a bit more confident after me reading those stats to you, mate?
It bodes well for us, but it'd be typical Wolves for us to have such a good record against you guys. And you'll probably end up getting the 3 points against us on Sunday anyway.
Listen, we're desperately in need, absolutely in desperate need for them. So I mean, listen, Wolves have been spending big money in the summer and some really, really good signings to show off for it, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been a very interesting summer. I think obviously you guys and your fans, I know, it's been a difficult summer with transfers and stuff like that, and it was a little bit slow for Wolves. Wolves fans were getting quite worried. We sold Matt Doherty in the window quite early. That was out of the blue. No one expected that, and we needed to strengthen. We had such a small team, especially with us being in Europe last year. Nuno made it so clear after our defeat against Sevilla in the Europa League that he wanted to strengthen. He wanted to bring numbers in. So when Doc left, our key right wing back, and we didn't replace him for weeks, we've only just replaced him. Fans were starting to get a bit impatient and worried. But we splashed the cash quite a lot. Out of the blue, all of our transfers have come. There hasn't been any, long-standing transfer rumours. We signed Fabio Silva, an 18-year-old striker from Porto, £35 million. So a lot of money. Not a player that I'm expecting to light up the world straight away. Probably a couple of years before, we're going to see much of him. Vitinha was another player that came in on loan from Porto with an option to buy. Marçal is another one that came in from Lyon as well. And most recently, Nelson Semedo's come in from Barcelona as well. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how Semedo can get on, because he's a right wing back. And we've been playing Adama Traore there the last couple of weeks, and he's tended to struggle slightly. So to have a proper right back there is it's going to be interesting, and fingers crossed he can start on Sunday against West Ham.
We do know, though, I mean, Alf, we know as West Ham fans that when you do sign plenty of players, that they all don't hit the ground running. And of course, like you said, you've sold one of your best players, I suppose you could say, to Liverpool recently. How much of an impact will that have on Wolves?
Well, it's an interesting one because the press and the media seem to think it's going to be a huge loss for Wolves. Yes, he was one of our more influential and more well-known players over the last couple of years, but towards the end of last season, he really struggled to break into the team. He was very, very inconsistent, Jota, and after lockdown, he was dreadful. He really wasn't great. And obviously, when the rumours came about, a lot of Wolves fans, when it was a rumoured fee of about 30, 35 million, a lot of Wolves fans said they'd take that money. It then rose actually to 45 million overall. So a lot of Wolves fans were very happy with that. But I think it was a good deal for both teams. Liverpool fans seem happy, and I think it's a good deal with them, how the payments are structured. And I think for us, we've offloaded a player that wasn't necessarily going to get loads of game time this season and still got 45 million. So that helps us in the long run with financial fair play and obviously bringing more players in, hopefully this summer as well.
Dave, let me ask you a question about your first signing there, which certainly raised a few eyebrows, in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
But what about Wolves fans, that and obviously surrounding the club? Were there many raised eyebrows there? Thinking, well, actually, 35 million or whatever it is for an 18-year-old lad, that's a lot of money to be spending on an 18-year-old.
Yeah, there was sort of two sides of it really. There's a lot of fans that are really excited because he came from Portugal, and obviously we was having quite a big Portuguese influence over the last couple of years. We've kept our eye on Porto, Benfica, and some of their hottest prospects. And Fabio Silva was one of the players that was identified as one of the rising stars in Portugal. So I think fans were excited by that point. But on the other side of things, spending 35 million on a kid that's barely played any league minutes, I don't think he's made over 10 league appearances for Porto. It's a lot of money to throw at a kid at that age. So, as I said earlier, I don't think we're not going to expect him to come in and score 20 goals this season, and I don't think anyone should expect that. But I think it's an investment that the club are looking to hopefully, make money on, or know that they're going to make a lot of money on in the future.
And has he actually played any minutes yet for you?
He started and played the full 90 in our Carabao Cup game against Stoke. Obviously, we lost out in that game.
Right.
He came on for a few minutes at the end of the City game as well. Missed one or two decent chances against Stoke, but looked pretty lively, got good work rate, got involved. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on this season.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a player I do want to talk about, and West Ham know him well because he loves to score against us, and it is Raul Jimenez.
Sorry, I almost interrupted your intro then.
What is going on with the music here? Come on now.
Listen, we know him well because he scored 3 goals in his last 3 appearances against West Ham. Also, West Ham at one point, I know we mentioned this last time we had either yourself or your friend on the last time, that we were also rumoured at one point to be signing him, but we opted for his counterpart in Mexico, Hernandez. How important has he been? I mean, look at those stats.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. The goal scoring record the last couple of years have been fantastic, and just his work rate at times is unbelievable. Especially in our opening game win against Sheffield United, he was fantastic. Scored an early goal, and just the whole game, his work rate was fantastic. And I think I overlooked him quite a lot last season. There was times where, sort of on my match reviews or match reports, I didn't praise him probably as much as I should have. But it just got to a point last season where even if he scored a goal or two, you just expect it from him, really. And he's already scored 2 in 2 this season, and I'm really looking forward to it. This pre-season, although it was quite broken up, was the first pre-season he's had staying in England or staying in his nation, because I think for the past 5 or 6 years, he's had an international competition every year, whether it be the World Cup or the Gold Cup. So, it's good for him to have a break, refresh, recharge the batteries, and hopefully we see him have another great season, because, he scored a lot of goals last year, and I'm hoping he can do the same again this season.
I mean, Alf, to be honest, he's one as a West Ham fan that we definitely do fear, especially when we know the stats and the statistics always read against. Sometimes when we come up against players like Jimenez, that history repeats itself. That we're terrible for it. Callum Wilson's of the world. Now we're talking about Jimenez, who's very confident against West Ham, and of course they'll be looking forward to it. How do you see, Dave? How do you see Wolves lining up against West Ham, and in particular, it's away from home at the London Stadium where you've had a lot of recent success?
Well, I think we'll go sort of with our normal sort of 3-4-3 formation. Nuno actually went with that against Manchester City, which surprised me. I thought he would sort of try and bolster and bulk out the midfield slightly. But in terms of lineup, I think most of it is predictable, but there are one or two positions where he could change it up. I think Patricio will start in goal. Our back three will stay the same with Romain Saiss, Connor Cody, and Willy Bolly. I'd expect Nelson Semedo, the new right back, to start at right wing back. Unfortunately, Marçal, who's started left wing back the last couple of games, he's injured, so I'd assume Vinagre will play at left wing back. Neves and Moutinho in the middle. Raul Jimenez up top. I think Daniel Podence will start left wing. Right wing will either go to Pedro Neto or Adama Traore, depending on how Adama's gone in training, and if Nuno thinks he deserves a start over Neto, who started off quite well this season as well.
Well, listen, you've just brought in the man again, another player who does like playing against West Ham. So let's have a discussion on Adama Traore. It's proper cheesy. It is proper cheesy, isn't it? Again, as a West Ham fan looking in, Alf, you mentioned it beforehand. The size of him, he's an absolute machine. He oils up his muscles prior to a game. But it does seem to be that he's in and out of the team quite a lot, isn't he?
Well, I think when we first played them at the London Stadium, when they first came up to the Premier League, and it was the opening game of the season or second game of the season.
Think,
yeah, it was, wasn't it? And it was. I wouldn't say that we were outplayed that game. Actually, I thought it was pretty even Stevens game, but a terrible mistake from one of our players that we all love to hate. And you just basically Traore just went in on goal and scored, and everybody thought, wow, this is what West Ham need. We need an impact player, an impact sub, whatever. And then you kind of watch him afterwards, and then sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't, but sometimes he comes on as an impact sub and he's great. Where is his best position? Or is he best as a starter or as a sub? Because I can't quite figure him out.
Definitely right wing is his best position. We've tried him as a right wing back. We've tried him as a striker. And unfortunately, he just lacks intelligence for both of those positions.
Right.
And that's not me being rude, but physically, he's one of the best in the world. But mentally and technically, he's not too great. Obviously, the game against West Ham was one of his first games, definitely his first goal for Wolves.
Yeah.
But that season, the 18-19 campaign, he was really hot and cold, and it was really not a great season for him. Last season, Nuno obviously showed a bit more faith in him, gave him a full pre-season, because we signed him that summer and he had a little injury. We had a full pre-season last year, and he came on leaps and bounds, and he played on the right of a front three for probably 90%, 95% of the season. There were times where if he had a poor game the game before, he'd start on the bench and come on after like 45, 50, 60 minutes. But yeah, definitely is a right winger. But when he is on it, he's unstoppable, and I'm looking forward to it. I think as long as Raul and maybe all the players around him are on it, and it is his intelligence that lets him down. He'll make a run, or he just, instead of making runs in behind, he'll just stand there and almost expect the ball to be played to his feet. So as long as the players around him are on it, I think Adama can do what he needs to do, really.
Let me ask you another question, Dave, if I may, about your manager, because many from the outside looking in would say what a great job he's done, what a great job he's doing. But do you ever kind of quietly amongst yourselves as Wolves fans sort of criticize your manager for some of the tactical decisions that he's made in games? Because we love to criticize our manager David Moyes on his substitutions or the timeliness of his substitutions. Is there a certain thing with Wolves fans against Nuno?
Yeah, 100% there is, and that's why whenever that discussion comes up, there's a very, very big debate on social media about it, because I don't think anyone is immune from criticism, really, any manager or any football player, really, because it's their job. Nuno has been unbelievable for us, but over the last couple of years, especially in Prem games where we've dropped points, there is always times where you think, why didn't he do this? There was times last season after lockdown as well, which cost us Europe. There was, in particular, a game against Sheffield United where Wolves played like it was 0-0 going really late into the game. Daniel Podence had just he had to fly to Portugal, and then he'd come back, and he had special treatment from the Premier League to allow him to play, to be selected in the squad and not have to self-isolate, basically. And he started on the bench. And we'd gone into this game 0-0 with about 20 minutes to go, and everyone is screaming for Nuno to bring Daniel Podence on.
Yeah.
He then brings on Dendoncker, which was a defensive change, and we just sat back for the next 20 minutes and ended up losing the game. So there was a massive debate on social media on why he didn't do this. He should have done this. And, some people think, oh, he's done so well for us for the last 3 years. Why are you saying anything about him? But then there's the other half of the fan base that say, we're not going to get very far if you just hold him back, because he won us the championship 3 years ago. He shouldn't be allowed to. You shouldn't be allowed to say it, really. So yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. But yeah, he does make the mistake. But I think everyone does, even players.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Another player I want to quickly discuss before we come on to your opinion on West Ham, etc. Dave, is Bowley, the centre half at the back. Did he sign a new contract for yourselves?
Has he? I think he has, yeah. Or he's set to. I can't. Yeah, I know he's very soon anyway, or he has done. I can't remember off the top of my head.
How important is he to you? West Ham are so desperately looking to get cover in the defence, especially now. I mean, in my opinion, the West Ham fan base is saying it's the wing backs. It's either the left back or the right back. I'm really keen on West Ham progressing forward and getting a centre half. But when you've got a talent like Bowley in defence, I mean, how important is he to your defence?
Yeah, very important. He's a good defender, Willy Bolly, and he still has a few shaky moments, but he had an injury last season for quite a big chunk of the season. And when he came back, we were like a different team. Like our record with him in the team versus without him in the team is outstanding, really. The win percentage is far higher when we've got him in the squad. This season, it's been a little bit shaky. I think maybe we're probably a little bit too quick to judge because he's had Traore as the right wing back there, so a lot of the balls are coming down that our right hand side. So I'm going to judge him a lot more, on the next few games where he's got a proper, natural right back there. But yeah, he's colossal, wins headers, big, strong, wins the tackles as well. So he's a great player for us.
Brilliant, excellent. So listen, Dave, what is your opinion on the West Ham situation, as an outsider looking in? I mean, from everything you see in the media and also West Ham's football style, etc., what do you expect as a Wolves fan?
Well, I didn't realise how bad the situation was actually with the club. Like, obviously, behind the scenes, really. And I do follow a few West Ham fans on social media, and over the last few weeks, it's ramped up a little bit. A few things have got retweeted onto my timeline, and I thought I didn't actually realise it was this bad. But it's just West Ham. I don't think, especially in recent years, I think the squad it sounds bad, but it's too good to go down, really. I think the management system there, David Moyes, it's just, I'm very, very surprised that he's kept his job there. Or, I think with your run of fixtures coming up as well, if you don't get a positive result this weekend, and with some of the fixtures coming up, I'd be very, very surprised if he's still got a job come towards November, really. So it's going to be difficult. And in terms of the game at the weekend as well, with him obviously not being there, I don't know what he's doing, Skyping the match or whatever they're doing.
They're talking about different ways and means.
Yeah. It will be really interesting to see how you guys get on. Obviously, you got Irvine in there who's pretty experienced. He has had management experience, I believe, at the Premier League level as well. So it'll be interesting to see how you get on. But
how do you perceive, as a Wolves fan coming to the London Stadium? Do you look at the fixture list and go, I'm all right with that fixture?
Yeah, to be honest, and this is no disrespect to West Ham, really.
Well,
I looked at our fixtures, and I think it was all of our fixtures up until the end of November, other than the Manchester City game. I thought I'd be disappointed if we didn't win that game. That's on paper, though. Football is completely different on the pitch. So, Man City was the only game I thought, right, we're going to struggle in that game. But we've beaten Sheffield United already this season. We didn't beat them at all. We got a draw and a defeat last season there. So if we can start improving on the results against those sort of teams, I think great. But like you said earlier, we've got a great record against West Ham. 4 wins since we've come up, 4 clean sheets. So yeah, it is a game that Wolves fans look towards and think, right, we should be able to get something there. And obviously with the disruption behind the scenes for you guys, I think we'll be hoping to grab all 3 points again.
Before you go, Dave, thank you so much for coming on. What is your predictions for the game tomorrow night?
I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Wolves. So 3 points.
Okay. Who's the man you fear? Who's the one you fear from West Ham?
Well, I've got Antonio in my FPL, my fantasy Premier League, so I'm sort of hoping he might get a goal, but we'll still win. But I think I might be wrong here. Souček, I think, did pretty well after lockdown as well in the middle of the park. Seemed to be a bit of a threat from set pieces. So yeah, he's one as well that, maybe not in open play, but from set pieces, I think Wolves are a little bit shaky at times defensively. So he may pop up with a goal or a chance from those chances.
How's your left back?
Left back situation is all over the place at the moment. That situation. So
good. I'm glad to hear that. We've got this little fella on the right hand side who's actually pretty good.
Is that Jared Bowen by any chance?
It's Jared Bowen. Yeah. So we're hoping that he'll feature and he'll put you a bit under pressure on your left side. But
Yeah, probably if I had to, identify a weak point ahead of Sunday, it would be the left hand side. To be fair, that might be the best way to look at for West Ham.
Yeah.
Listen, Dave, thank you so much for coming on. Make sure if you're watching, go and check out Dave's channel, Talking Wolves. Really good friend of the channel. Thank you again, Dave, for coming on, mate, and hopefully we'll have you on in the coming season as well for the return leg.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thanks a lot, and obviously best of luck on Sunday.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Take it easy. Thank you.
Guys.
Shut up. Bye.
I've always found it really interesting, mate, when you get an opposition fan on. I think this is the third preview we've done for the Premier League, and it's so interesting to hear the opposition's point of view of West Ham, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's refreshing to hear other fans talk about their club and their manager in such a way. What we perceive as a really good club, really well club, and a great manager, and all of a sudden, you've got fans who think, well, actually, no, he's not doing really well. He has got frailties. And you think, well, crikey, if that's frailties, you want to come over to West Ham. we'll show you the true definition of the word. But there we go. I mean, it's great having Dave on. It's great getting that perspective. I think he's got a good shout on that prediction. Actually, I would never, if I can help it, predict a loss. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm hoping West Ham turn up, the proper West Ham. Well, okay, not the proper West Ham. Any West Ham that is good.
Is it the Arsenal West Ham, or is it the whole city West Ham?
The goals. Well, this is the interesting thing. Which players play now? Who should be playing for West Ham? Because there'll be some fans out there who'll say, "Oh, look, I don't know, the players who played against Hull and who played against Charlton. Oh, yeah, they should be playing." But hold on a minute, they're lower league opposition. We're talking about Premier League players now, Premier League battle-hardened players. You're not sure about that, but it's so hard to. This is a difficult one for Moyes. Definitely, it's a difficult one for us as fans to really say definitely should be there. I mean, there are two players that should definitely be there.
Well, hold on before you do that. There's one player that I think you're going to talk about, and this is the reason why I stopped you. Let's have a look at Sebastian Haller. Has he done enough to start?
Yes. Is the answer. He definitely does, but he cannot be up there by himself. No. He has to have somebody with him, and if he has somebody with him, we've got a real good chance of taking it to Wolves. If we take the game to them, stop them playing out of the defence, we've got a real good. And this is what our strategy should be.
So, can I ask you then? Do you think the strikers should be the following two? Antonio and Haller together?
Interesting one. Yes, I do. I would also be very happy with the Haller Anderson or Haller Lanzini setup, or even a Haller Yarmolenko pairing.
Which is bringing me perfectly onto this one. I mean, the four players that we're talking about right now is Haller, Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Anderson, who have, credit where credit's due, played very well in the League Cup, albeit against lower league opposition.
Yeah.
But we've got momentum, we've got excitement, and we've got goals.
And I think they've got a real good shout, not only because of the way they've played in those games, but also because we can see there is an issue with a couple of our existing players in the Premier League team that you think, well, actually, you could change those out a bit. Fornals, we're looking at. But Noble, we're looking at as well. So there are a few players here where we can say, actually, do you know what? We could sacrifice these players or keep them on the subs bench and maybe just go for a more attacking liner, a team with a bit more mobility. It's difficult, as I say. I'm struggling here, but I would say definitely have Haller on. I would go with the Haller Antonio starting lineup. I think Yarmolenko is a great sub for either Bowen or for Antonio if if we need be. And I would look at having Anderson on instead of Fornals, actually.
Can I just want to show you, we've done it last week as well, just want to show you the selection of midfielders that West Ham have got to choose from, which will make decisions probably harder for Moyes. Now, let me remind you that Moyes is going to be managing West Ham on Sunday from afar. We don't know how he's going to do it yet, but we just do know he's going to be making the decisions whilst watching the game. But he's got decisions to make from the midfield, and these are the following ones he's got to choose from. I mean, there's 9 midfielders there, Alf. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about the dropping of Fornals, and I agree with that sentiment because I'm not saying he's not the best. I don't think he's a crap player. I think he's got a future at West Ham. I genuinely believe he has got a future at West Ham, and it's how West Ham manage his expectations is how we can potentially keep him. But there's other players there that deserve to start, and I feel like it's a wasted position right now. And it's it's maybe harsh. Is it harsh to say it's wasted position? But I mean, we've not even talked about Snodgrass.
Oh, so he's going to be my next point. Yeah,
we've not even spoken about Wilshere, who had a great game against Hull. I think Wilshere has got a future at West Ham. I think there's talks again of the MLS, and I think it's probably a good option for him. But Snodgrass, like we said there, I mean, listen, there's players there with opportunities and should be knocking at the door for Moyes to say, listen, I'm here and I want to start the game.
See, for me, Snodgrass, I think he's going to really struggle to get into our midfield, our first 11 midfield. But I think, this is completely out of left field here, I think he could do a job at left back. I know people are going to scream at the video and go, what are you going on about? I've just got a feeling that he could do a job there.
Do you know what, Alf? It's the first time I've heard it, and I like it. Yeah,
I really do like Snodgrass as a player, as his work ethic, and I think, if we are struggling at the left back position, whether form, whether injury, whatever, I think he could, because he was playing deep the other night. He was playing really deep. And I think, if we could use him some way, maybe have an Anderson up ahead of him, but he would also be, he's still got that flair to go forward. Great for dead ball situations as well. Just imagine what our team could be. But, we could be weak in defence with him there. That's the problem, but I don't know. I think it's a difficult one. I just hope that we can come out on the attack. And we should come out on the attack against Wolves. We are at home. All the players have still got a big point to prove to themselves, to the club. They're all fighting for positions. Let them go out there. Let them express themselves, and let's see what they can do.
Absolutely. We do know there's going to be changes at the back because Diop won't be able to make the game. He's picked up the virus, unfortunately for him. So that'll leave us with a gap in the back. What we did have, though, was maybe Balbuena stepping into the position in the game against Hull alongside Alessi. Now, you watched the game, as did I, on the match day live that we did in the week. What was your thoughts on the pairing of Balbuena and Alessi?
Okay, I don't want to, overstep this or overdo this. That was the best footballing defensive partnership I have seen in a long, long time. I was that impressed. If anybody saw the live watch along that I did, I was just waxing lyrical about these two the whole game. I absolutely loved watching that game. But I've got to hold back my enthusiasm because it was against Hull, a League One side. But they just, they made a couple of mistakes here and there, but it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. Definitely, Balbuena to have the captaincy and Balbuena to start, because I think he's grown into that role and he played brilliantly. If you're going to be bold, I would keep Alessi in there and not have Bonner. If you're going to be bold.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what I'm going to say, because I've got this kind of little thing in my head about Augie's style of play, but I know many fans are going to be on watching me right now saying he's been our best player, player in the defence. But I struggle to choose a defender who's been playing well when we've been conceding so many goals, and a lot of those goals come through the central defensive pairing. So I've said all along that the defence needs to be shook up, and it needs to be shaken up, and it needs a big shock to the system. And I know you said, Alf, that the team we were playing was a lower league position, but that could be the big shake-up that they need to make. Now, we do know that Moyes is up for making changes, because last week he brought in Masuaku to the starting lineup. What we do know is that Noble's back fit again. Souček, Rice, etc. They're all there. Wilshire's played well in the last game. Snodgrass has played well in the last game. Then we're missing obviously Diop, and I do think it will be Balbuena that will step into the boat, because like you said, Alf, he's been given the captaincy. But what I do want to see is the youth being bled through into the squad, and players like Alessi now. He has proven to me in 2 or 3 games that I've watched him play that he is at the level that we need him to be at. Or if someone wants to challenge me on that and say, well, he's played better at League One level, then I get that point, because he's played League One opposition. But when he stands out in the defence compared to everyone else, then does that mean that Balbuena's at League One level?
Look, you've got to compare the two players, and I'll give you the classic comparison here. Alessi, or Longello, who came on as sub, and unfortunately he'd only been on the park for about 30 seconds when he kind of let his player get away from him, and that's why they scored. But if you just compare, and he got a lot better after that, so I'm not going to criticise him because I thought he had a really good game. But if you compare Longello, who actually looked like a young, naive player, but playing really out of his skin, and you look at Alessi, who looked like a seasoned pro. He looked like, it doesn't matter if I've lost half a yard, I know exactly where I need to be. I know exactly where I need to step back or where I need to push up. And he looked like the finished article to me.
Yeah.
100%. And that's how high I rated that performance and that pairing out of them two. So that's why I'm going to go big and bold. I'm nailing my, flag to the mast, whatever it is, and I'm saying them two to start.
Well, listen, before we go through this, our potential team selection, get your starting 11 in. Who do you think will start against Wolves tomorrow night? I missed that, Alf. I missed that.
I do as well. I really do. And it looks like it's going to be a long, long time before we're back there.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Alf, let's go through our starting 11. It's blatantly obvious it's going to be Fabianski. So we've got 2 options here. We've got go with your head, go with what you think Moyes will do, or go with what you would like to do. So we'll try and do a little bit of both very quickly. So it's going to be Fabianski at the back, left back. Or what formation? Is he going to go similar against Arsenal than what he...
I'll go 4-4-1-1. I'll go.
Okay. So, here we go. There, that goes.
Hello. What?
Nightmare. What do you think? Then? Do you think what back four do you think he's going to name?
Right. If Ashby hadn't got injured with his fingers, I would have gone bold as well. Gone Ashby on the right hand side.
It's a big move, Alf. Big move.
I know. I'm being big. I'm being really. I've been G'd up.
Big.
You know.
Alf,
no.
Go home.
That's right. Well, I'm already home, so as we all are. But I tell you what, I've been really G'd up. There are no more grumbles coming out of me for a long, long time. That's for sure. So I would have started him, but no, I will go Johnson right back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Johnson deserves to go in the right back
position. He does.
Yeah.
And I think,
100%.
It's a shame about Ashby because he would be a great substitute for Johnson if need be. Yeah,
absolutely. Centre half pairing. Do you genuinely think he will be bold? Do you think he will be bold and bring Balbuena in?
No, Balbuena Ogbonna. I think that's what he's going to do.
I think that will be the same. And then we're going to go for left back.
I think he's going to go Masuaku.
Right. So do you think he's going to bring him out from the kind of wing back role? Actually, drop Creswell out in that position. I can see that. I can see that because I think this game is going to be an opportunity for him to actually try and play Haller. I think he has to, we'll come up to that in a minute. So there's method in our madness. Midfield, options. But let's cut to the chase. The players that really are going to be in consideration for this is going to be a mixture of Noble, Rice, Souček, Anderson, Lanzini, Yarmolenko, Bowen. What do we do? Where do we go? What will Moyes do?
He'll go Anderson left. He'll go Souček, Rice in the middle. Sorry?
I forgot Fornals as well.
Oh, yeah, no, he won't have him. No. So Anderson on the left. He'll have Souček and Rice in the middle, and he'll have Bowen on the right-hand side.
Excellent. And then top two?
Haller, Antonio.
And then Antonio sitting in behind?
Slightly, yeah.
I would absolutely take that. I would absolutely take that. Now, if he didn't play Anderson, he's got the option there to flick that over with Yarmolenko or even Lanzini. Because Lanzini can't play outside and cut in if needed. But the thing, what we're seeing with those three players is, albeit against the opposition that they are confident and they are playing well together. You know, you can see the rapport that they're all building together. Four of them, they're looking exciting. Again, like I said, respect the opposition. I get that, but I think West Ham need to somehow go toe to toe a little bit with Wolves because Wolves haven't had the best start. You know, they've probably expected to they lost against, although they had Manchester City, which is a ball game. But I'll take that. Get your predictions in for your starting 11.
My only concern, my only reason why I haven't included all those four players, which I agree they are together, they play really well. I just don't think Anderson, Lanzini, Yarmolenko on the same pitch at the same time at Premier League pace against a really good Wolves team is a good combination. I just don't think it has enough drive and enough energy.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. It's what I would love to see. I'm not saying I think it would work. I just think I would like to see it. I'd like to give it a shot. I'm not saying it has to be for this game. And I'm not saying we have to drop players like Souček. I'm not talking about that, or Bowen, etc. But sometimes, how many years have we gone on about West Ham Protect? There's so many players here to choose from. Yeah. And by bringing Yarmolenko, Lanzini, and Anderson into the side, you've got to mix that up with Bowen, Rice, Souček, Antonio, Haller, and then bang, there's a really, really forward-thinking side, which is maybe not protecting the defence, and the defence definitely needs protected, and that's the unfortunate thing. If our defence was strong enough, Alf, they wouldn't need as much protection as what they do. We'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting you say about. Although I've said that, and I totally agree, I would love to see them. I'm not sure if it would be a good thing, but they won't be a starting the game like that. But it's interesting the way we can make the substitutions. You know, Lanzini in for Antonio. We could have Souček out, and we could have Snodgrass in. We could have Bowen out. We could have Yarmolenko in. All of a sudden, you could have all these players ending the game.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, hold on, 20 minutes to go. All these players on the pitch, fresh legs. This could be interesting. You know,
100%. Get your predictions in. Everybody, let us know what you think the score will be tomorrow night. Fortune!
I did. I've looked everywhere.
Before we do our predictions, West Ham's head-to-head record is we have won 29 games against Wolves, lost 22 times against Wolves, drawing 14 in all competitions. We last beat Wolves in the FA Cup back in 2016 thanks to Jelovic goal in the last 5 minutes. Prior to that was in 2011 when we were at home and there was an own goal and Freddie Sears got the goal, which I think is in the intro video for today. So, you know, we've not got the most decent record of late against Wolverhampton Wanderers, but what's your predictions, Alf, for Sunday night? West Ham take on Wolves at the London Stadium in front of no fans again, which is crap, but get your prediction in.
I'm going to go 3-2 West Ham.
It seems to be a prediction that a lot of fans are currently doing with West Ham right now, because we're scoring.
Yeah, I think we've got goals in us. Yeah, exactly. I think we've got goals in us. If we turn up, we've got goals in us, definitely.
I just can't see the game. You know, Dave from Talking Wolves mentioned that this result could be 2-1. Right now, with the way West Ham are playing, with the options that we've got, I just can't see how the game will finish with 3 goals.
Yeah, I think the key here for us for 60, 70 minutes of the game is if we play Haller and how we play Haller, who we put alongside Haller, and how he's supported. So that's going to be the key. Because if we get that right and we get the formation behind him right, I think we could take Wolves to the cleaners. However, it's a big if. It's a massive if, because we just don't know.
The biggest problem we've got now is if we bring Haller into the side, but we don't support him and we just go with what we've currently got. Exactly. So if we do keep Fornals in the side, we keep Bowen in the side, and okay, credit where credit's due, Bowen is creating opportunities, etc. But it needs something else. It needs a little bit more of a fire and progressive attacking to feed Haller, and that's what we're looking for. So listen, I'm going to go for my prediction. I mean, I always like going way out there. I really do. But I'm going to try and keep it nice and subtle today. So I'm going to go for a 7-6 victory. No, I'm going to go for a 3. I don't want to copy you, Alf. I really don't want to copy you.
It's a good number, though, isn't it? 3-2. It's a good number.
So it's what I would like to go for, but I'm going to go for 3-1 to West Ham.
Yeah, it's a good number.
I'm going to go a little bit way out there. I'm going to go 4-3 West Ham.
Do you know what? That's not a bad shout either. That's not a bad shout.
We'll see.
I don't think there's a lot between West Ham and Wolves, actually. And we said it all last season, and we said it the season before, especially last season. On paper, we got some really good players. And I'm just hoping, and I'm grabbing at straws here, I know. I'm just hoping that these players that we've got, that we've been moaning about for so long, are just all of them, or most of them, starting to find some form and desire to want to play for West Ham. And I'm hoping that is the case.
And I'm hoping that this is the season that they do it.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Listen, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit the thumbs up, hit the little bell that notifies you when a video goes live. Tomorrow night, we will be coming to you with a match day live. So tune in to us. We'll give you some exclusive team news, announcements. We'll talk to you and have a bit of a laugh during the game. I may even have a little beverage, which I've not had the last couple of times. I don't know if you're around, Al, for the match day live.
I am hoping to get back just before the game starts. I'm hoping.
Cool. So
I may not be available until about after halftime.
That's fine for the halftime report.
Possibly. Yeah.
Also, we'll come to you with a review straight after the game. And then on Monday night, Stell's moving his West Ham Weekly from Sunday to Monday night. So tune into that. And then we'll have a continuation of shows moving forward next week where we play the Carabao Cup 4th round against Everton. We've got an Everton fan coming on to give you their point of view as well. So check in with us. Alf, you'll be at some point coming out with a video next week, whether it's an oi oi grumble, depending on the mood you are in, Alf.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been hard to make videos recently, but it's been hard to make grumble videos. I've got to say, the last week, 10 days, whatever. It's I could have made a massive one after the first game, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there's so many games at the moment. It's hard to do a video and then we're going to talk about the next game, haven't we?
That's true, 100%. Go and check out our Gift of the Gab video that we did last night. Myself, Alf, and my dad came on, and we had a general chit chat with the reaction to the Sullivan news, etc. So get in the comments and let us know your opinion on everything we've discussed today. And listen, thank you very much for all the support you've been giving us over the last few years. This has been the Wolves preview, and fingers crossed we can go and get a point. We need not a point, 3 points. 3 points, Alf.
3 points.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in.
And thanks to Dave for joining us as well. But he called it absolutely right. If we don't win this game, we've got a terrible run of fixtures coming up as well. We could be facing November into December with hardly any points at all, and possibly Moyes under a lot of pressure. So this is a big game for us. A big 100%.
Game. He's been Alf. I've been Anton. This is Irons United. Come on, you Irons.